Greetings everyone, this is Leviathan DK with another review of a world conquest, and as you can see it has been formed by the Roman Empire. And over here you can have an idea of who we formed it as. That's right, it was Byzantium, the little guy that could do, became into the Roman Empire and conquered the world. I was planning on doing a one faith together, and as you can see it's actually looking pretty good. Have 8 missionaries, not that much left to convert, but these 3 provinces right here have expelled minorities, thank you very much Castile, and that runs out after 1821, so I cannot get it done. Colonies I could have dealt with, all their promoting, that would have been fine, but those 3 provinces have secured that I cannot get a world conquest and a one faith at the same time. World conquest on the other hand, quite easy. It's now 1805, we just integrated the last vassal, but the world conquest itself was completed on 1803. So first let's look at the idea groups. Started with religious into offensive because I was drowning in military points. In future I would suggest maybe you take defensive for the morale boost, even though this one is very nice with the siege and the discipline and the pips modifiers, also the prestige, land, everything. It's a really good one, but for the early game defensive could be better. Another good thing why to take this early is if you want to convert a lot, then you get the missionary strength versus heretics and religious unity, so really good to get it done. Where if we look at this one together with religious ideas, then you get national unrest and attrition for enemies. So this makes sure that you have religious unity when you conquer all the land from the Ottomans. Then we went into diplomatic for this province war score cost and all the other good bonuses. Also you get another 20% religious unity and the missionary strength, so definitely take that. Then the admin for this, always get it. Then into influence because we were reaching the point where we had to integrate people. Then I went for quality, and then defensive at the end because I didn't know what else to choose. So you could take defensive up here and then move offensive down to one of the other posts, but that's your choice. So we have 120% discipline, we have also good morale, and we are actually not even using the icon to give us discipline. So with this idea set up, once you've reached this quality and offensive combined with everything else, and we don't even have this guy over here, then you can reach 130%. But if you use discipline here and just these 2 here, or just one of them, and then use this one, 125, otherwise 130. Missionaries is very easy to convert, as you can see, and if we include all of this, you can see it would have been done. This one has religious zeal, and that is something that would go away before 1821. So now without further ado, let's jump into the timeline. The way I started this was using Budget Monk's opening, so I'm not really gonna explain how the first war with the Ottomans went, because Budget Monk explains it very well in his. So let's just roll it very quickly. Now during the war we were improving with Jandar and also following Budget Monk's opening there, because we decided to guarantee them and ally them when the Ottomans declared on them, so we got called into the war. And as you can see right here, it's already been 11 years and we have the Strait secured because we pieced them out and took everything for ourselves along with money. To the north we were very lucky getting Austria and Hungary in royal marriages and alliances. That really helped, that especially Hungary, they are usually the big stumbling block because they always ally Austria and have the emperor as yeah, as their sugar daddy. So that was a little bit lucky that we got both of them. Also had Wallachia, but we had to remove them. Now we just like this was a world conquest from the beginning. There we go. The second war got around, so we could also start eating and get the missions done, so we could use the claims. But this was meant to be a world conquest right from the get-go, so we were quite aggressive in the early game. Never really had a coalition fire. I had one form, but only 4 or 5 countries, and then it went away. There we go. We fought Venice, got what we needed, and we just had Genoa to deal with. Also, the biggest part is finding when you can actually fight Naples, Aragon. If they get the Iberian wedding, that is a little bit tricky, but it didn't, and I managed to get where not many would help them, so that was very good for us. Now let's look out for when we did this. AQ decided to take over the Ottomans. There we go. So we landed over here, managed to make sure that we got into the Black Sea, because then we had another way open. Making sure that Hungary cannot get too much. And then the next part was getting over here. We got Crimea as a vassal. Took this from from Aragon. So we had a border with Tunis. We had the islands. We were over here as well. So we had more expansion paths open for us. Now around this time, we were quite lucky. We got our first PU, and that was Hungary. Hungary chose to PU us over Austria. As you can see, Austria got the Burgundian inheritance, and we had Castile as an ally and Hungary, so quite easy that we beat them. There we go. We took from Tunis, and Crimea we just fed them this stuff over here. So just expanding, securing a power base. Tuscany got formed, and just making quick work of everything. This land was now belonging to Crimea, our vassal, so that was pretty good. Now the next thing we were gonna do is we were gonna fight Portugal. And the reason why we wanted Portugal is because they had colonies, and we definitely wanted that. Same as Aragon. We wanted to take the colonies from them, while we were just expanding east, and we were very careful to use the truce timers. Also expanded down here. There we go. As you can see, Mamelukes just eating them bit by bit. Now at this point we had our second PU, or we're very close to it, and that was Ferrara. So just expanding. Soon we take all of this. That was a big war, and we knew it was gonna be difficult, but we wanted it because we really wanted to get to the New World so we could expand. There we go. We got some land over here. As you can also, we did this because we had the Timurids as an ally, but we snuck around because we knew they were close to forming the Mughals, and at this point they had outlived their usefulness. So in order to make sure that they didn't block too much and got too many allies, we snuck around and bordered them. There you go. You can see we have taken from Aragon. Catalonia also got released. We got all we needed, and we had the war with Portugal. There we go. Look at this. Already now we have a good amount of land. And then we just fabricated and landed over here and fought. Down here we haven't gotten to Africa yet, but that changed pretty soon. Also, we bought a province over here from Vijayanagar when we got the trade companies. There we go. We can see it changed. We bought this one just so we were actually there, and we were just expanding. Also started over here, so again we could really use that truce timer. Hungary got integrated, and now we were on fire. Another PU subject we got was France, actually. Was quite lucky. As you can see, we're just expanding, letting them do all the stuff. Now we're down here as well. Also, we jumped over here at one point. So we're just basically taking a little bit of land here and there. We are also down here in Portuguese. Australia, we have taken it over. While it says Portuguese Australia, it is actually belonging to us, as you can see on the flag. And we were just expanding. Court and country also fired. There we go. You can see we just broke them a little bit. Now Great Britain was becoming a bit of a problem, and so was Castile. They took a lot of land. So we had to find a way to deal with that. Right now we were just going quite slowly, making sure we had our borders. There we go. Mughal, so we had an expansion path. Malwa was our ally, and now we had a snake way into India, so we could continue the expansion. And let's speed it up a little bit. There we go. Now Russia, for some reason, lost against Ming and Mongolia and Baratia, so they ended up being broken, and I think they also went bankrupt. Norway becoming part, like Denmark, just getting eaten by everyone. We're expanding into the Commonwealth. Also, we took inner and outer Hebrides, so we could land and start going against Great Britain, and we started the colonies. But as you can see, Castile, they were quite good at getting a lot of land. Next time, I would say definitely have to focus more on killing all of this land from them, because that was a bit of a pain. Byzantium, just keep going. Portugal finished. Crimea blobbing into the Commonwealth. Now here we had a problem. Sweden decided to become the revolution. France integrated. MERV, our client state. We are now military tech 20, admin tech 23 at least. Also we are down here and started taking over. But this was a problem. So that meant our truce timers got a little bit broken by revolutionary Sweden, because they were allied to Great Britain. Russia, we beat them. 6 military techs ahead. Vijayanagar just slowly breaking everything. And now we were tanking Ming Mandate, but we didn't want to fight it. Focusing on killing some of this stuff. Also, Great Britain, we were basically just taking their colonies down here, so we didn't have that to worry about in future fights, while we were snaking our way down to London. Dijon belongs to us. That is a client state. Also Brandenburg got a PU, and they got we inherited them, not planned, but oh well. Ustrum also belongs to us. And now let's see how it goes. Now I was just content leaving Ming until around now. There we go. We got what we wanted, Russia gone basically, and now it was time to head for Ming. So before we really look at Europe, there we go. First war with Ming, and the reason why I saved Ming for this late was because I was confident that I could beat them in around 50 years or so. Because while you fight Ming, you take a war with one of their tributaries, which they will not honor, and then you grab land. I just snaked my way over to Datong because it's a fort and it's mountain and it's very close to Beijing. So the next thing I did was declare on Nepal, which was a Ming tributary. Declare on them, quick control Ming, peace them out, reset the truce time of 5 years, feed this to client state, and same down here. And then we were just focusing over here, just eating and feeding, and there you can see what we did with Ming. Take land, make tributary, make client states, and then just rinse and repeat. Just slowly everything. So it's been less than 30 years, and you can see Ming is only having this left. Malwa we decided to break with around this time when we were fighting Castile, because now we had no further use for them. As you can see, we're very close, and they just started with this up here. Damn them. Austria and Ming actually allied at one point, so we had to do some shenanigans to break them. Russia got formed again, Roman Empire. Kano left Africa for last, basically, along with Malwa. Japan took everything. Also left this one for the end because I found that this was a skull that looked very cool. They actually fought Russia back before we ate Russia, and they actually managed to white peace Russia. Co didn't, the little guy that could. We released some stuff because we wanted to see if we could convert it. There we go. Bandugara, our client state. And there we go. So, got it done, and yeah, we're just playing on normal, not playing on hard, even though I normally play, but just to test. Let's look at the government reforms. This one, and then always take national manpower modifier. Went for promoted cultures, and then we took the admin policy for free because it's just so good and it saves admin points. Parliamentalism. Sucks that we didn't have the nobility anymore, but it was really good to take this. I highly recommend you take it. I wouldn't suggest anything else, basically. Then I took minimum autonomy in territories, and we went for the legislative houses. So we had another free administrative policy. No, not free, but we had one possible. Now, the mission tree, we were actually leaving this right here for a very long time. Was mostly focusing on this over here. Now, I believe it is this one. Yeah, this one. Missionary strength versus heretics for 20 years. I saved that for when we were fighting Europe after we had integrated. So I believe it was around 1725 that I actually used it, and then we just went ham with converting. Of course, we enforced religion on France and everyone else. France only cost 50, that was actually very fun. But just converted everything. And 8 missionaries, because we took this one, propagation of state religion. It's really good. I switched between that one and the Diplo annexation reduction for 15%. The last 100 years I basically switched between them. And this is the missionary strength, so you just convert everything basically. Everything that can be converted is converted very quickly. We have good tolerance. Corning country was a little bit hard to fire, but we used Hisan Kaifa over here, 1 province minor. And yeah, that was it. Just basically expand every direction. And Europe, focus that before you focus Ming. Ming can be dealt with in 50 years, just leave them and use their tributaries to reset the truce timer. I would say this is probably the most fun world conquest I've ever done. So now that's left is just to run it to the end. We'll probably use these guys again to see if I can get a 1 faith. Also, another thing is trade companies. I could add a lot of stuff to trade companies, but I didn't do it because it was I wanted to go orthodox for the 1 faith, so I converted first and then added. But as we were going along, we didn't need it anymore because we're just making so much money. 2 million in manpower and over 1 million in ships, quite high. Just when fighting Great Britain and Castile, like this is the last part, take the colonies first. Like, you can leave the European part for last because they just take up so much war score when you go for these guys. So leave them for the end. Also focus more on Africa earlier than I did. but it's your own choice. India, easy, just ally a big one, leave them for last, and then gobble them up. Also because then you don't have to worry about Ming allying someone over here when they are your allies, so it saves you quite a bit of time. Roman Empire, awesome. If we look at Age of Revolution, I decided to go for these two first. No, I went for the Force March and the Ignore Coring Distance, and then the Artillery Bonus versus Force, because we were just controlling so very, very well. And then go for this one, and then this one, and then I would say these two, leave them for last, especially Global Naval Engagement, because you don't need to worry about the Navy battles once you've broken Great Britain. Colonies are doing really, really well, especially Cuba, except their manpower is always on this part over here. Mexico area, always make sure you get that, and also down here, which is what we're calling New Byzantium, because they are actually very good with their armies. I have found them to be consistently doing what I want them to do, so definitely do that. Now that was it for me, and we also managed to stay, let's see if we have it here, political map mode. Yeah, we stayed the same dynasty, play the PU game. I got lucky with France, never rivaled them or anything. Don't bother rivaling Europe, because you can marry them for that PU if you're lucky, like I am, or like I was. Just leave France and Castile until 1650 before you actually go for them, maybe, and see if you can get your dynasty on their throne. Byzantium into Roman Empire, give it a go. You can definitely get a world conquest. Their idea groups are insane. Pax Romana is now ruling the world. There we go. So, if you enjoyed this guide, then do give it a like, and also give a comment if there's anything you want to see me do in the future. If you want to see me try Byzantium for world conquest, or any other ones, or if I should go achievement hunting, or another country for world conquest. Maybe Muscovy into Russia, or Ottomans on very hard. But until then, take care, and Leviathan DK over and out.